Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Brooke. Today we are going to be making eggplant parmesan, homemade marinara, and artisan bread. And I do attempt to make homemade noodles, but as you can see, well, you'll see how that turns out. Just keep watching. I like to start off with a clean surface, so I'm gonna tidy up the kitchen real quick and then we'll get to cooking. Thanks for watching again. Hey, let me know how your day's going. I would love to know. Leave me a comment.
They're just yawning. They're just yawning.
Yeah. LOL, these kids. They keep you entertained for sure. Do you play with the kitty? Ah. Munchie. Back to the dishes. Oh, how I loathe thee. But actually, I'm so blessed at the same time because I'm able to fill my family's bellies with all these dishes. I do really not enjoy doing the dishes, especially because my dishwasher has been broken. We're at the last bit, and then I'll be a clean kitchen, all to get dirty again. Just you wait and see how dirty I can make a kitchen. Gotta love it, right? Embrace yourself.
The mega ship and the little ship. And I have 4 rebellions.
Taking a quick peek on that no knead artisan bread dough. It looking good. It's looking good.
I do my head talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Okay, I literally crack myself up. I save my grinder bottles because they make me feel so fancy. Like I said in my other video, it's the small things in life, and I'm showing off my new presents and also my veggie haul. Also, you can never have a clean enough surface, so wipe it down after each thing you do, and it just, I don't know, it just makes you feel better in the kitchen. So I am just scoring the flesh of the tomatoes so it's easier to pull the skin off after you've boiled them. I told you it gets messy around here. So after I spilt that, I did take the pot over to the sink and empty some of the water out so I can get some more tomatoes in the pot. Hey, we all do silly things sometime, right? And no spilling this time. Now I'm just placing the tomatoes on the stove to come to a rolling boil. Also preheating my oven to 375 for my bread. Have you ever wanted a kitchen appliance so bad? Well, I finally own one of these KitchenAid mixers. I'm so excited. This is seriously the easiest bread recipe I have ever made, and it's not like I've made a lot. Well, I'm really new to this, but it has been proofing for a good 7 hours, and it's getting closer to being put in the oven. So now I'm just dusting the countertop with some flour, and I'm going to take the dough that has been proofing for those 7 hours and just put it out on the countertop and and I'm going to score the top of it here soon. This is a no-knead recipe, so you don't want to mess with it a lot. It says just to fold it over 4 times before you put it in your Dutch oven. Make sure not to over knead it, because that's what gives it the air and makes it fluffy inside. Do you spray the inside of your Dutch oven with non-stick spray?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Foodista.com, spray the sides and bottom of the cast iron Dutch oven pan with a non-stick cooking spray.
And here comes the scoring part. A nice close-up. I love those close-ups. Sorry guys, hope you do too. Just checking on those tomatoes to see if they're about ready. I'm gonna add a lid, maybe speed up the boiling process, who knows. So I'm getting my KitchenAid mixer ready so I can try to make these noodles, but oh, it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. And back to check on those tomatoes, and they have come to a beautiful rolling boil. Slippery little suckers. Fall right back out of my tongs. Dare I say, pro tip, but I suggest that you put your tomatoes in an iced water bath. It helps when it comes to taking off the skins later. Trust me. I gave up trying to get the rest of these tomatoes out with those tongs. It was kind of impossible. They were so slippery. So I ended up just putting them all in that water with ice, and it ended up melting, but that's okay. It did it for the most part. And it's finally time to put that bread in the oven. Oh boy, I just can't wait to see how this turns out. It's my first time. We're doing a lot of firsts today. Why not? Alexa, set a 35-minute timer. I am a terribly messy cooker. Anyone else out there like that? Just I thought I'd show you the mess on my floor. Can't blame the kids this time. Thank you. Okay, and so now it's time to start the pasta dough. I think the dough is where I end up messing up. If you have any clue, help a girl out. Leave a comment. Give me your favorite recipe for pasta dough. I'd appreciate it. Thanks. I couldn't stand the crumbs underneath my feet anymore. I probably sweep my floor on average 6 to 8 times a day. I kind of have a little obsession with doing it. So the recipe I was using said to mix it until it forms a dough ball. So I have already taken the skin off of these steamed, or not steamed, but boiled tomatoes. And I'm just gonna blend them all up, process them in my processor here. So it'll be the first for us tonight having eggplant. My husband has never had eggplant. I've had it at a few restaurants, but I decided to grow it in my garden this year. So for the breading, I just use your basic flour, some panko breadcrumbs, and egg wash. And then I add a little bit of Parmesan to the mixture to add a little flavor. And we love cheese. If you've watched our videos, we love cheese. The breading process is quite easy, but very messy, at least messy for me. But all you do is take your slice of eggplant, dip it into the egg wash, and then just toss it around in the panko and flour mixture. Just giving you a globby close-up. I love those close-ups. Guys, you know this by now. So I am just adding a little bit of vegetable oil to my frying pan. We will use this later for our eggplant. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper on top of the eggplant. And I already have my pan with my vegetable oil on medium heat, heating up. You got to be careful with the temperature of the oil because it will get so hot that it will burn your food before it even has a chance to properly cook. So make sure your heat's not too high. Give them a little flip, check to see if they're golden brown, and then you'll know to flip the rest of them. Like I said, you don't want them overly burnt because they're going to also go into the oven with the cheese topping and stuff. Okay, so now we're going to add some of that marinara sauce that we've been cooking just to the bottom of it so our eggplant does not burn. So I'm just taking the eggplant from the frying pan and placing it in our baking dish that we have layered with marinara sauce on the bottom. And here comes the cheese part, the eggplant Parmesan part. So you add the mozzarella cheese and you also add Parmesan cheese to the top of your eggplant before you put it into your oven at 375 for 25 minutes or until golden brown. I'm also sprinkling a little bit of parsley on the top just because I think it gives it an extra bit of beauty. Food is just as beautiful as a skyline. It just depends on who's looking at it and who's viewing it, you know. A few panko breadcrumbs on the top, and that's our last thing. It just helps with a little bit of crunch. Now off to the toaster oven at 375 for, I don't know, 15 to 25 minutes. Okay, so this is our pasta dough, and it says to cut it in fours and then roll it out as thin as possible. I do have a spaghetti attachment for my KitchenAid, and I do try to use that. I don't think I have the consistency of the dough correct. I don't know. Like I said, leave me a comment if you have a good recipe or you know what I'm doing wrong. Help me out, please. I love any advice, any way that I can learn something new. I appreciate. My husband is so very patient with me. But my patience for this ends up running thin, and you'll see that. I just couldn't get it to work out the way I wanted to. And that's okay. it was my first time ever using this machine. It was my first time ever trying to make homemade spaghetti. But you never know if you can do something or how to improve if you don't even try to begin with. So I put it in here, as embarrassing as it may be, or not as perfect, because we all learn, or we all learn in different ways, and I'm a hands-on kind of person, so I'll figure it out. Hopefully with some of your helps in the comments. I didn't want to do this.
If it didn't cut it at 4, it's not going to cut it. Unless you have to follow that recipe, that kind of recipe for noodles in order to get it to noodles to come out.
Maybe you need like a special flour. They start to look like noodles, but they still are too sticky. And enough with that. It's time to take out the bread and see how we did. And it is gorgeous. I am so proud of myself. So where I had a fail, I had a gain. I had a win. It tastes so good too, I have to tell you. Look at how beautiful. The sauce was also a win, if I don't say so myself. These are the seasonings that I put in the spaghetti sauce. This is salsa that I was going to make, but it had a little bit too much heat, so I took a few spoonfuls out of this and added it to my sauce to give it some of that flavor. And this is the noodles that I did get. And boxed noodles to the rescue. We will try making noodles from scratch again, but it's getting late and we're hungry. And this is the mess. You would never know that we did all those dishes. And I would have to mop the floor. And dinner is all done. Our good old box spaghetti, our homemade eggplant from our garden, and our first ever artisan bread made in my new Dutch oven I got for my birthday from this awesome man. And they've been hovering around, they're starving and they're ready to eat, so I'm signing off. I'd say this is a wonderful win. I already forgot about the pasta. Pasta what? What do you think about that bread?
The crust is off the charts.
Thanks, baby. What do you think about the meal?
Oh, it's delicious.
What's your favorite part so far?
The bread or the spaghetti sauce?
Yeah.
Hey, Punky,
Thanks
are you
for following
enjoying
along on
it?
my journey. I appreciate every single one of you.
Did I make the sauce just like you like? Cool.
And I'm loving mine too.
Subscribe to my mommy's channel. Doo, doo, doo.